Here's the thing. We cannot say COVID or vaccine, or they'll take us off.
Yeah.
So we're just going to say Chinese virus.
I got you.
They may take you off for that.
Well, if they do, they do. I'm tired of it. Oh, by the way, she has built a website. You might be interested in this. Did I talk to you about this? It's called freespeechnews.com.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, because of all the time I put in this, I wouldn't put any money in it. But we need a couple of $100, even though she's already built the site, to get the site up and running. And we're going to put advertisement and stuff like that on there.
Yeah.
So if you, and then we're going to take all of our radio programs that we do 3 days a week, and we're going to put it on that website so it can't ever be taken down.
Gotcha.
So she's built it and everything else. I didn't know if you'd want to put an advertisement of your business on there.
Talk about it. I'd be interested in it.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to make money off of it, but if I can get a couple of people to pay like $100 or something for the year, because it'll cost us like $180 for the website.
For hosting. Yeah.
So, but she's built a hell of a website.
Really?
I mean, it looks good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, won't you pull that up so he can see it? You know, when after we're done.
Protest convoy
Okay, here we go.
is Army of God.
About to start.
More damaging earthquakes along the central and northeastern Atlantic coastal corridor, including in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Those behind the project say that they hope this information will inform architects, engineers, and policymakers.
Turn it on. Have you turned it on?
Buildings and other structures are planned and constructed across the U.S.
Fox Weather's Max Gordon. Prosecutors on New York's Long Island say a Florida man is under arrest after he hacked doctors' prescription accounts to access illegal pills. Devin Anthony Margeri and Kissimmee has pled not guilty to multiple charges. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
Hello, everyone. This is Lawrence Sutton, Chris Morris, and we have a special guest, Chris Stutts. This is Free Speech News, where we are not politically correct, but we're biblically correct. And there's two things you do not discuss in mixed company, and that's politics and religion. Of course, we break that, don't we?
We always break it.
So,
what have we not broke?
Exactly. So I want to welcome Mr. Chris Stutts, who is actually the chairman of the Lawrence County Election Commission and local businessman that has a tremendous business. And just tell everybody a little bit about yourself today, Chris.
Well, thanks for having me, Lawrence. I appreciate you inviting me on. We a family operation in Lawrence County, down in Leoma. We built a farm equipment business, and we love our county. We love our nation, and we're just involved anywhere we can be to try to help our nation get back to what our founding fathers had in mind.
Well, I want you to tell everybody the name of your business. Let's give out your phone number and kind of tell us a little bit what you're doing. And I want everybody to know this is not advertisement or anything else like that, but because we have Todd Warner, we're going to have to give Todd Warner credit.
Right. Shout out to Todd Warner.
Shout out Todd Warner, who sponsors our program for us. But Chris, you are a tremendous God-fearing Christian man with a Christian business, and we need to support that. So
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we've got lots of different type of farm equipment. You know, we live in an agriculture community.
Yep.
Beef cattle, row crop. Tennessee's always the top 10 in the nation in beef production. Lawrence County is always the top 10 in the state. And so we keep stuff there for cattle farmers, hobby farmers, homesteaders. Got people that move in from different states all the time. There's not a week that goes by that I don't talk to someone that has moved in here from a different state, fleeing some of this garbage that's going on.
Amen. So obviously Wendy's has not been coming to Lawrence County, or they wouldn't be saying, where's the beef? Because we know where the beef is, and it's here in Lawrence County and the state of Tennessee. So, what's the name of your business?
Farm Service Solutions.
Yep.
We're at 41 Williams Road in Leoma, Tennessee. We're on a dead-end road, so we don't get drive-by traffic. You've got to know we're there.
Are
Yep.
you on a dirt road?
Fortunately, we're not.
Okay.
We have good roads in Lawrence County.
Amen.
I thought we'd have a good
Ryan
song.
Crick does a good job, by the way.
Yeah.
Ryan Crick is our road commissioner, and I'm very happy with the work that Ryan has done since he was elected in 2022.
Absolutely. Go to some of these other places and ride the roads and tell me we don't have good roads in Lawrence County.
We have great roads, and I tell you what, with Snowmageddon, okay, that we had last week. By the way, can somebody explain to me, because, you know, I'm a dumb Florida redneck. Florida man, they even call us. Where is what they call our global warming? Where was that at?
Man, it's global cooling. I've been talking about global cooling for a long time.
But we're supposed to have global warming.
Well, they changed that to climate change.
Well, I know, but they keep changing their minds. Is that part of the trans movements?
That's that trans movement.
That's that
correct.
trans movement. We can't figure out what we are.
Where they're trying to polarize Americans.
Amen.
That's exactly what they're doing.
And I'm going to be honest with you. We're trying to poke fun and we're trying to have fun, but I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah.
You know, that polarization. But you know what? There's only so much stupid that I can handle. And Laura, who is our 13-year-old producer here of this radio program, she has a saying. And her saying is she says, no matter how big the hammer is, you can't fix stupid. And I love that saying.
That's sort of like Foxworthy. Here's your sign.
Here's your sign, and we are. But anyway, I'm sorry I went off on a tangent, but you know, Chris.
He's good at that, by the way.
Oh yeah,
That's okay.
I go off on tangents all the time. You've listened to our program.
We
so.
chase rabbits. That's okay.
Exactly.
Get in the weeds.
Yep. So, tell me some of the things that you are doing as the chairman of our election commission.
So right now, probably the biggest thing coming up is our new voting machines. The state passed a law that we have to have what you call a VVPAT, which is a voter verified paper audit trail on every machine.
So we're going to have some paper type ballots.
And by the way, I'm on the election commission in Giles. Giles and Lawrence have the same voting machine, microvote.
We do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't have Dominion then.
No, we don't have Dominion. We don't.
I
have,
know we don't.
We don't have
I'm just
E,
messing.
S, and S.
I'm just messing with you guys.
They didn't even put in a bid. They knew better than to come here.
They knew better, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because I know what Chris would have done. Chris would have took those machines, took one of his big old tractors, and got rid of them.
Well, of course, you've met Bill Whitehead with microvote. I know.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we got a little story to share, but go ahead.
Well, with the VVPAT, we're going to have a paper verifiable ballot that rolls up when you vote. When you cast your vote, it rolls up. You can verify on paper right there at the machine that this is who I voted for and this is what it's going to record. Then you push the button and record that, and then it rolls away out of sight for the next voter to come up and vote. You don't actually fill anything out on paper. You don't keep a paper, but you visually see it, and we keep that roll of paper. It's like a
22 months.
Yeah, 22 months, and we can go back and audit. They have QR codes at the bottom of every vote, so we can go back and sample. Lots of different things we can do with that.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you like the new microvote machine? And of course, the thing that when you talked about the ballot, you go on and you're pushing, it highlights who you're voting for in green. And see, like if you and I were on the ballot for school board in your district, and you had Chris Morris, and then you had Chris Stutts, and you're trying to decide who you're going to vote for.
Which Chris?
Yeah. And it's going to highlight Chris Stutts in green if that's who you're actually casting the vote for. So you make sure you got the right Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I forgot. Our old machines just had a check mark.
Had a check
Black
mark.
and white. That's an upgrade. It's a great upgrade. It highlights that whole name in green. One good thing about going back with microvote is the machines that our voters are used to using is just basically the same machine. Just new color, better screen. It's designed the same. It looks the same. So there's not going to be hopefully any confusion on learning how to vote with a new machine. Just a little different with that paper.
Okay, so here's a question. You know, we're already getting into the weeds here, but I feel like this is important.
Are we in the tumbleweeds yet?
Yeah, we are. and Chris and I have had numerous conversations about this, by the way. And he doesn't even know that we was going to talk about this, but I wanted to bring this up because do you see a way, or is this a way for us really to have a check and balance that we used to have with paper ballots? Because as you know, Florida ruined paper ballots for us with the hanging chads in 2000.
That's when Gore was running.
Right, that's correct.
Yeah.
So, and everybody thought, oh, well, we're no longer going to do paper ballots because Florida messed up with these hanging chads and everything. And who knows, maybe one of those hanging chads was mine even. But I do know this, it seems like it got worse when it came down to us, my vote really counting. Is there a way now currently, gentlemen, for us to have any kind of voter fraud that we were hearing about happening in some of these swing states now in Giles and Lawrence County?
I'm going to say our elections are pretty secure in these two counties.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I had an IT guy who's on the county commission in Giles, and there's a lot of conspiracy theorists.
Right.
You're one of them.
Absolutely. But
I'm one of them.
Yep.
But he went through this machine, and that's what I was going to tell you. He put Bill Whitehead through the ringer now. And if y'all remember the old washers, how you'd wring your clothes out.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Bill was. He flatlined him.
Well, see,
But
me
he
and
went-
Chris ain't as old as you, so we really don't remember those
All right,
types
here
of
we
washers.
go with that crap again. But anyway, he went through it and it passed his bar.
Okay.
And it's really the way I describe the machine that Microvote has. It's a high-tech tabulator.
Yeah.
It really, and the beauty of this is you get to double check yourself, not only with the green bar, but you get to look at your paper ballot. And before you hit cast or confirm, whatever, I'd have to go back and look at it. It's been a day or two since I looked at it.
Yeah.
But once, if you've got a mistake and you're looking at your paper ballot, you can void it.
Yeah.
It voids it. And you start over. Okay? That's the beauty.
So we're having, correct me if I'm wrong here, we're having not only a paper ballot trail, but we're also having an electronic trail also, and those two have to agree with each other.
They do.
That's right.
They do. But it doesn't have any type of modem that you can connect it to the internet. And a lot of people have a concern. This one does not.
Okay. Now, again, I'm ignorant here, but I would imagine if I thought of this question, there's other people that did too. Did the Dominion and some of these other machines, did they have modems in them?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Did we ever have those machines in our counties?
No.
No, not in
I can't say, back 30 years ago, when you would cast, you'd walk into this big old booth.
Right.
It had the iron curtain behind you.
Yeah, but we had paper ballots in Florida then, though.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, you'd go in and push, and it's sort of like, I guess, like a kissing cousin to the hanging Chad machine.
Yeah, yeah.
And you would push, and once you got through, and you jerked that big lever, that's when your vote was cast.
Okay.
And these were like tanks moving them around.
Logistically a problem.
They were logistically a problem. Now today, and I don't know how it is in Lawrence County, it's hard to find people to work the polls.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you get down to the day of the election where, early voting's over.
Yep.
But you got to have registers. You got to have machine operators. You got to have people, a judge, and this and that. You got to have a lot of people to man a poll. And then the next thing you know, the night before the election, you've got 9 that's called out. I can't do it. I'm sick. I'm this. I forgot I had a doctor's appointment. So you get into all this.
So I will say this, and you guys know better than most the amount of volunteer work that I do. But Chris, if you have that happen, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call me, and we will do what we can to get people there to help. Because I'm going to tell you something, people. It is very important that we get involved, not only in the voting,
That's right.
but I'm going to tell you what Lenin said out of Russia. Is he said this: it does not matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. And are we conspiracy theorists? You know, you brought that up. Well, here is the definition of a conspiracy theorist. A conspiracy theorist is somebody that believes in conspiracy, and it's a theory. But a lot of our conspiracy theories are now conspiracy.
Yeah.
Because it's true. And what we thought was just a theory has been proven correct.
Well, it now came to fruition.
That is correct. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're going to segue into this, and I'm going to tell you what I was on the phone a lot yesterday, and I had people calling me, texting me, and I was following up, calling and talking, and it's the Texas border crisis. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're not paying attention to the Texas border crisis right now, I do not want to ever go into hyping anything, but we are as close to a constitutional crisis in this country with what's happening at the border.
Amen.
As we have been since the Civil War.
That's right.
You are correct.
And we are also, as a country, probably more polarized as a nation at any time other than the Civil War. So give me your opinion, Chris Stutts. I'll start with you, of what you're looking at and what you're seeing on our border crisis.
Well, you know, everybody, whether they realize it or not, wants a secure border. You want your house secure. You may not think you want the U.S. border secure, but you want your house, the border around your house secure. Well, that depends on your street being secure, your town being secure, your state being secure, and ultimately our country being secure. All that's affected by our border security. And it's just a sad state of affairs. How many people do we have pouring in per month? 300,000?
300,000 in December alone.
Unchecked, unknown.
That's 10,000 a day. So, you know, even I can figure that out. And it's kind of funny. I'm going to tell you what's interesting about that is we have a senator out of Pennsylvania, a progressive liberal senator who some people say shouldn't, his brain capacity they think is at Biden's or even worse because he suffered a stroke, by the name of John Fetterman.
Oh, Lord.
John Fetterman is even agreeing with us. And he even made a comment that
That's scary.
It's not scary. I tell you what it is. I'm hoping these liberals, I know, but I'm hoping these liberals and progressives are waking up.
They're seeing the light.
Because John Fetterman said this. He said there is more people coming into our country every month that is the same size as Pittsburgh. You know, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the Steelers.
And that's frightening.
Home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. That is a big city. And every month we have the equivalent of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he says enough is enough. You know, typically here what Republicans mess up with is that we have so much infighting. And we'll get to this in a little bit later, what you're having to deal with, Chris. But Democrats, for the most part, they walk the party line and they stick together.
Yeah.
So when I see somebody that I view as almost an enemy of our country because of how they believe, it gives me hope that maybe they're not enemies. Maybe they were just misguided and they're waking up.
Yeah.
You know, we have fentanyl. We were discussing this earlier. 1 pound of fentanyl is enough to kill everybody in Lawrence County. You gave an example earlier, Chris.
So, yeah, one size of a grain of sugar is a lethal dose of fentanyl. It's so
you're saying one granular.
one granular of sugar to somebody that's not used to taking prescription drugs, that doesn't do illegal drugs. One granular, the size of a grain of sugar, is a lethal dose.
Wow.
And this stuff is pouring in by the hundreds of pounds a day.
Well, listen to this. Texas law enforcement has seized over 454 million lethal doses of fentanyl during this border mission, which the border mission is called Operation Lone Star.
And how long was that mission? Was it a month, a year? I mean, does it say?
I'd have to go in here and read it. This just come out 2 hours ago, and it's on the website, and it's the official website of the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. He just released this 2 hours ago.
So we have right now, with this border crisis, we have 26 of the 27 Republican governor states that is standing with Texas. We have one lone governor, who is Phil Scott out of Vermont, that is not standing with Texas, who is trying, let's face it, Governor Abbott is trying to secure the border. And I really am trying to understand how the Biden administration can say, let's keep the borders open. I'm trying to figure this out.
It's mind-boggling.
Listen to this. Idaho's governor 3 hours ago is sending state police, the state troopers, to the Texas border.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something. I talked with Paige Wally yesterday about this. Paige Wally is friends with the top-ranking general in Tennessee over our National Guard, General Ross. Tennessee, thank God, Tennessee has already sent troops to the Texas border. Bill Lee got on, and me and you are hard on Bill Lee. But, you know, when somebody does something right, then they need to be told that they've done right.
They get kudos.
They get kudos. And Bill Lee has come out and has said that we stand with Texas. We're going to continue to stand with Texas. And we are in agreement as a Republican Party in Tennessee that we're going to protect our borders.
Well, if it wasn't for Tennessee, there would be no Texas.
Tennessee's
So God bless Tennessee.
Right.
Remember the Alamo.
That's right. That's right. And now something else that has come up is we have a trucker convoy.
Oh, Lord.
That is starting January the 29th and going through February the 3rd, that is going to the border. This huge trucker convoy, just kind of like what happened in Canada.
And talking about what happened in Canada with the trucker convoy, they weaponized all kinds of stuff against those people. They froze bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
They seized assets. They shut them down. And we've got some cameras coming to Lawrenceburg at some of our red lights. I wonder if something like that could be weaponized.
You're talking about in the city of Lawrenceburg?
Yes, city of Lawrenceburg.
Not the county, but
No,
the city.
The city of Lawrence. Oh, no. As a matter of fact, I talked with John Myers, our sheriff, and I also talked with David Morgan, our county executive. Both of them weren't even aware of this, and both of them told me that we're not for this at all. But yes, Chris, how did they find out who these truckers were?
Yeah, they weaponized surveillance.
They used their
systems.
surveillance cameras on these truckers. They found out who owned the trucks, and then they went who owned the trucks, and then they started freezing and taking money from these people.
That was our Department of Justice.
Well, that was Canada's.
Yeah.
That was
Excuse me,
Trudeau.
Canada's
Yeah,
Justin Trudeau.
Trudeau, yes. So I'm going to tell you something. This is funny, but if you ever want to find out what is going to happen in America, look at what happens to Canada about 10 years before.
That's right.
And then what happens, and listen everybody, a lot of this is conjecture, but if you go research this, you're going to find out that 75% of what I'm saying is going to be correct. What starts in Canada will make its way to California, and then once it makes its way to California, it spreads eastward.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do not think that these cameras can be used, and I'm going to tell you something, I don't think Lawrenceburg Police Department, I don't think our mayor in Lawrenceburg intends for this purpose. But here's the thing. We had the city administrator come on Wednesday with us, and unfortunately they could not tell us who even the cameras were, who sold them or gave them to us, and who was even going to be monitoring it. And that's, I understand that he may not have had that information, but we had a mayor and we had city council that approved these cameras to go in. And like I said, they put a thing out in the newspaper, we're not going to be surveilling everybody. There's no facial recognition on these. But I will tell you this, that they can be used to weaponize people. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole, let's go down the rabbit hole. What's to say when we had a shutdown in COVID that they can't see cars that are moving when they say don't leave, don't go out? Well,
this person tested positive. They're not supposed to be out.
But here we are. We see his vehicle. Can you not see how this can go down the road? And people, I'm going to tell you something. Some people say, well, I'm not a criminal. I don't have nothing to worry about. But here's the thing.
They'll make you a criminal.
They can make you a criminal. And I find that it may not be, and they may not use it against us, but it can be. And to me, it's just more technology that can be used as what we call in the Bible the mark of the beast.
Right.
To surveil everybody.
Well, I go back, we're talking about these cameras. One of the ways to start tracking and tracing Americans was thought up by the Democrats.
Yeah.
The Act of 34, the Social Security Act?
Yeah.
Where you got a Social Security number?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's how they started tracking you. And people don't realize this.
Everything
Is tied to your Social Security number.
Yeah. But see, there's going to come a time, and this is just my opinion. Here's conspiracy theory. Okay, you want conspiracy theory?
101.
I'm about to give you conspiracy theory. There's even something that can track you even more than your Social Security number.
Your iPhone.
Your phone.
Your iPad.
There's going to come a time, and it's already starting, when... Do you take payments by phone?
Take credit card payments over the phone.
Over the phone.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stores. Like I went to McDonald's today. My wife hopefully is not listening to this.
Victoria, I hope you're listening.
No, I don't. It was the girls' fault. They wanted McDonald's.
Oh, blame it on the girls.
Yeah. So when I pulled up there, they said, "Are you going to be paying with your mobile phone app?" And I go, "No." But we're paying already with our phone right now.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. All currency fiat currency that's not backed by anything, which the dollar is not, except for the good faith of our government, okay? Which in a lot of countries right now they don't have a lot of faith in us.
It's
I'm just
been
going to tell you,
revoked.
that's correct. But all currencies will eventually go to zero. And how it is done is through inflation. What are we seeing the last 3 years?
Major inflation.
Yeah.
So here's something. Again, we're conspiracy theorists that I can prove with math is not a conspiracy theory, but it's a conspiracy. In 2020, everybody can go look this up, we had $15 trillion of money in circulation. At the end of 2023, we had $22 trillion of money in circulation.
Wow.
So I want to take this to you like this. When we went off the gold standard by the Nixon administration, here's a Republican that messed up. We went off the gold standard in 1971. From 1971 to 2020, 49 years, we had $15 trillion in circulation. But from 2020 to 2023, 3 years, we had $22 trillion in circulation.
That's a 50% increase.
At least 40, yeah. What have we seen in prices? Chris, you're a businessman. What kind of price increase have you seen?
Oh, we've doubled prices.
It's increased
over that time.
50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 to 50%.
It's not this 8% they talk about on the news.
No,
That's not a real world figure.
it's a 40.
Those are not real world people
That's
either.
right.
So is that conspiracy theorists or is that a conspiracy? I just proved it by math, simple math, that everybody can figure out in their head without using a calculator.
Using the math first grade primer 101.
That's correct. So, we keep going in this, but I got to play this before we get off. We went off on the weeds. I'm sorry, everybody. But I want to get back to the Texas border crisis. I want to play a clip of They want to tell you that the Mexicans and the South Americans are coming through the border to get to a better life. And that is not true.
They're coming from everywhere.
They're coming from everywhere, and from what we're being told, okay, so I can't confirm this because Lawrence hasn't gone down to the border and seen with his own eyes, but what we're being told is that 90% of the people that are crossing the border are military-age men. We are being invaded. Okay, but I want everybody to listen to this clip, and I hope it will play on the radio and people can hear this.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy. The entitlement.
So that right there came from the Texas border, a man of Middle Eastern descent that has crossed into our country illegally by the federal government helping him, giving him taxpayer dollars, and he is telling reporters that you don't know who I am because you're not smart enough to know who I am.
But you will know who I am.
But you will know. Does that sound like a threat?
That's a threat.
People, you don't think that this man hates this country? He is coming over here to help destroy our country, and we are letting it happen.
He's one of millions.
Millions.
That's what people don't realize. And I had this talk this morning. Forget about Democrat and Republican. Forget about it.
Yeah.
You better start educating yourself using your God-given good common sense, if you got any, and start waking up, smelling the coffee, because we're in a national crisis, whether you realize it or not. Now, everything may be good in Leoma, Tennessee. It may be good in Summertown, Tennessee.
Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
In Lawrenceburg. But I want to tell you,
Yeah.
it's here. It's for real. And I tell you a scary thing. I made some stops here a while back, and every truck stop, there wasn't Buc-ee's everywhere I went. They got the cleanest.
God bless Buc-ee's.
And they got the cleanest
sandwiches.
bathrooms, and they got great sandwiches. But go ahead.
But Buc-ee's toilet area is bigger than my bathroom. I mean, I'm just going to tell you.
Oh, you're talking about their individual stall.
Their individual
Okay.
stalls is out of this world, and it is cleaner than some restaurants' kitchens. I'm just going to tell you. Maybe not restaurants around here, but I'm going to tell you something. When I go to Buc-ee's, I mean,
You know you're going to get
Yeah.
a clean toilet, right?
I am.
But anyway, every one of these truckers, like you're stopping in a Love's or Pilot or a TNA Travel Stop Center, and you go into them, look at the truck drivers coming in. You don't see many Americans driving a truck anymore. They're foreigners,
Right.
and that is frightening.
And you know what? Here's the thing, and I do want to stress this. It's not like we are against foreigners. It's not like we are against having people come into our country. I mean, for crying out loud, my wife is from Laos, but she came to this country legally. She speaks English. Even her parents speak English. She got a college education, unlike me, and they assimilated in our country, and they love our country. She is even a citizen of this
that's great.
country.
That's the way it needs to be.
That's
Lawrence.
correct.
And let me say this. People say because we're Christians, what would Jesus do? Would they turn them away? Biblically, and you said at the beginning of the show, we're biblically correct.
Amen.
Yeah.
Biblically, God ordains borders.
Amen, he does.
The children of Israel had borders.
Preach.
Paul talks about going to other countries and cross borders. And God ordains that government and that setup of us having borders and being able to protect the borders. And I was reading this earlier today, Lawrence, and you guys comment on this, what you think. The children of Israel, as long as their borders were secure, God had their hand on them, his hedge of protection around them. When God pulled his hand of protection off the children of Israel, the borders all of a sudden become insecure and foreigners would invade.
So there's two big examples of this. One is when King Nebuchadnezzar came through Israel and took over Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time when Jesus warned before he was put on the cross that the nation of or Jerusalem, city of Jerusalem, and the nation of Israel would be no more within a generation. And that happened with Rome. And they absolutely destroyed and they scattered the Jews across the earth for 2,000 years or close to it, or 1,900 years before they were brought back into their land. Mm-hmm. And here's the crazy part. God gave Israel to the Jews. America, when we came over and our founding fathers made America for us, they gave America to God.
Yeah.
And God protected us. God gave us our borders. And now it's like we're spitting in God's face and say, no, or at least the Biden administration is, no, we're not going, we're going to be a one world religion. Okay, Lord, here we go. We're about to get into the weeds. We're going to be a new world order. We're going to be one world. What does the Bible say about a one world government?
Oh,
This is the end of the time.
this is in the time. That's right.
So let me ask you this, and this is a serious question. What is this Biden administration doing when they're trying to bring in? I'm going to take it even. I'm going to look at it biblically, not even politically here. What are they doing to America? They are making America was already a melting pot. Why do we need to speed up the melting pot of America? But we're doing it.
Yeah, exponentiality.
That's correct.
Snowball rolling down a hill.
Yes. And that's the reason I'm looking at this. You're looking at me like, uh-oh, Lawrence. Light bulb went off, didn't it, Chris?
It did.
And the same thing has happened in Europe. Look what's happened with Europe, with all the Muslims that have invaded into Europe. We are changing our borders, and we are no longer a world of borders, but we're now, America was the true last bastion of a closed borders, even though we welcomed all immigrants. And now that's not the case anymore. We have done the same thing that Europe did back 10 years ago.
Well, don't kid yourself neither about all the Muslims that's here in the United States.
Oh, I'm not. I mean, I'm not, but you know what? I pray for those people because they are totally lost. And a Muslim will even tell you, oh, well, we believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, except they don't call him Jesus. They call him Isa, number one. And you know what's funny? Here's the funny part. The word Isa, what they call Jesus, was what was in the Bible before the 16th century, because before the 16th century, we did not have the letter J in our alphabet. Mm-hmm. So it was also, Jesus was also in English called Isa as well, but we know his name is Yeshua. Okay, everybody says Jesus. Okay, and I think Jesus, he goes with the flow on that, but his real true name is Yeshua.
Yeah.
Well, in Spanish, it's Jesus.
Well, no, because of the letter J. See, the Spanish didn't have the letter J.
They didn't
either.
have the letter J as well.
That's correct. So, okay, we went in the weeds. All right, let's pull.
Yeah, we got 15 minutes.
Hey,
like
fastest
hour. You don't,
that
has
was
it gone by,
fast.
Chris?
Yeah.
But we got a lot of things. One thing, I wanted to bring up, and it's funny when we sit here on this radio and things pop in. Look, read that, what come in on my phone.
2024 Southern Border Convoy. Yeah, we talked about convoy.
It starts the 29th.
9th. That's right. That's what I said through the February 3rd. Yes.
And there's the port where they're going.
Take our border back. Eagle Pass, Yuma, Arizona, San Ysidro, California. You know why he handed me this phone, don't you?
What's that?
Because Chris can't read. He just doesn't want to tell anybody.
He's made it a long way.
Right.
So that's the reason he handed this to me, because, Chris.
No, the reason I handed it to you, I wanted you to see we're talking about it, and a good friend, my executive committee woman, just shared this.
Yeah.
That's on the SEC with me. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the SEC, because we have something coming up, and I'm going to tell you something. It's very, very important. What is happening right now, tomorrow, in Tennessee, that, frankly, Chris, thank you for what you're doing, because I know that this is hard, and I know you're getting a lot of pushback. But I want you to tell everybody what's going on and what you have done.
Just in a nutshell, what's going on. In August, we met in Mount Juliet, and we didn't take a vote that day, but there was pretty well agreement that we were not going to give a reprieve to Democrats to be on our ballot.
Yeah.
And we're sticking with bona fide status, 3 out of 4, yada, yada, yada. Like Kip says, I'm going to mock Kip, shout out to Kip, and his driver's license bill. But anyway, we had a 30-day window. We had a cooling off period because we had to give notice. And Chairman Golden did the right thing. We did the notice, and then we had this Zoom meeting. And you imagine there's 66 of us, but all 66 of us wasn't on the Zoom call. But there was close to 50 of us, and it got convoluted. So number one, and I say this to everybody that watches and all my SEC members, as long as I sit on this SEC, I'll fight a Zoom meeting any day of the week.
Yeah.
Okay? That is utter bullcrap, because it got messed up, and we violated our own bylaws. We were meeting to close the gap, and the bylaws, everybody's hung up on dates. Well, 24, 26. I'm just going to say the bylaws say 3 out of 4. I wished it said 4 out of 4.
Yeah.
But it says 3 out of 4. If we just follow that to be, and what 3 out of 4 folks that don't understand out there, that's for you to be what's called a bona fide Republican, to be on the ballot as a Republican. So y'all got the upcoming school board races in Lawrence County. You've got your assessor of property. And what other office y'all got?
That's it.
Is that it?
Circuit judge, maybe?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Our new circuit
Your
judge.
new circuit judge.
Yes.
District, I'm at part 5 is what it's called, the
Yeah.
new judge slot. But anyway, we've got this coming up, and you want Republicans representing you, or you want people of the conservative value. And if they are conservative, they're going to be voting Republican. And it doesn't take long to earn your stripes. You know, if you've never voted Republican and you vote in the March presidential primary on March the 5th, you'll get your private stripe, okay? And if you vote in the statewide primary in August, you'll move up to corporal. And then if you vote in August of 26, you'll move up to sergeant. And then the next time you have a chance to earn another stripe and become a master sergeant will be in March of 28. Okay? So it don't take that long.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing about it, anytime when I look at the past 4, and this goes back to August of 2018, anybody that's voted for a D, and especially in March of 20, that means you cast a vote for Biden.
Well, that's correct.
Do I want you representing me in any part of my government? No. Period. No. At the end of the day, no. But we should be sticking with our bylaws 3 out of 4. And when this vote took place on Zoom, somebody made a motion. A motion was never voted on or make an amendment to move it to 26 and give a reprieve to Democrats to get on our ballot. Okay? So think about this. Think with me. We go back to August of 2018. We're giving a free ride to people who voted for Hillary Rodham Clinton in 2026.
In
And
2016.
in 2016, thank you. In 2016 and in 2012, Barry Obama. And in 2008, they could have voted for Obama twice, and they could have voted for Hillary once, and then earned bona fide status from that point forward. They woke up and got smart.
Free reprieve to be on our Republican ticket.
Free reprieve to be on our Republican ticket. That is correct. But this is focusing from 2018, August 2018 to now. And you got to be 3 out of 4. And if you're not 3 out of 4, it's too bad, too sad.
Well, see, here's the
But
thing.
what's happening is some of our fellow SEC members are given what they used to call it vouching, and they come up with this fancy word, an acronym called waiver.
Is that kind of like what the definition of is by Bill Clinton?
Is. That's right. And that's exactly what it is. We don't need that crap in there. And they're saying, oh, well, this person is 1 out of 4. And there was some good people, and I don't blame them for being upset. They knew the bylaws, and they chose not to run, and I'm talking about Williamson County. They chose not to run in the primary because they were 2 out of 4.
Right.
Well, they let some 2 out of 4s on because one of the fellow SEC members said no, the other one said yes. It went to a political committee made up of 12 members, and that day by Zoom, again, 10 of them met. 1, hear me out, 1 said no. They're not 3 out of 4. They're not following our party bylaws. They're not bona fide. The other 9 let them on the ballot.
Well,
so we got a problem.
Yeah. And we want converts.
We absolutely do, but you know what? All you have to do is vote over a 4-year period of time to be able to run for office as Republican. It's not like you can't be part of the Republican Party. It's not like you can't vote Republican. You know, yes, you're right. We do want converts, but you know what?
People are converting.
You have to put in 4 years to prove. You know, it's kind of like Ronald Reagan said. Ronald Reagan said this perfectly. If you're not a liberal at 20, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative at 40, you have no brain.
That's
Okay?
right.
So you're just earning your stripes, like you said. I want to get to something because I think this is extremely important. I want to wrap up this Texas border crisis with this.
And I want to bring up one thing, an announcement too, okay, while you're doing that.
So we have coming up Tennessee Citizens for State Sovereignty, Uncle Dave Vance, okay, that is present the Liberty Whisper and why the 10th Amendment nullification matters. This is being put on by Tennessee Citizens for State Sovereignty, and their special guest is Chris Ann Hall, attorney. Is being held February the 24th from 10 a.m. to 12:30, and it's at the Dynamic Ballroom and Performing Arts in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And I want people to go on the Tennessee Citizens for State Sovereignty, look them up, and you will have to put in a reservation for this. And seats are filling up fast. They already have 120 seats filled.
We only got 30 spots left.
Okay, 30 spots left. Let me tell you why this matters. If Texas had in their Constitution about the 10th Amendment nullification, what is happening right now, even though we do not have Governor Abbott saying this, but what he's saying is we are ignoring, it is actually nullification.
Right.
But if they had had that in their Constitution, we wouldn't have even had this go to the Supreme Court even.
Yeah.
So Tennessee currently has this
In theirs.
Okay. I need for everybody, you need to contact Kip, you need to contact Clay Doggett, you need to contact Paige Wally, Joey Hensley,
Todd Warner.
whoever your person is in the state of Tennessee, your representative, and you need to tell them that this is important. So I'm going to end with that. We're done with Texas. What do you have for me, Chris?
I got another great announcement. You know, this past Wednesday in Fayetteville, Tennessee, Citizens for Renewing America brought the FBI whistleblower Steve Friend.
Yep.
I'm telling you, we need to get him back, and everybody in law enforcement needs to hear what he's got to say. It's chilling. There were 3 SEC members at this meeting the other night, and we all left with goosebumps. And he told us how the Biden administration is weaponizing the Department of Justice against people just like you and I, and you, Chris, Christian conservatives, and the FBI. They're coming after us. They're coming after us, and don't think you won't get that rat-tat-tat on your door. So we're going to try to get him back, and with a couple of other whistleblowers, and people need to pay attention. You need to educate yourself. Get away from watching your Dancing with the Stars or your Law and Order SVU, and come and educate yourself about what's going on right here for real, because the FBI has entered the great state of Tennessee, not once but twice. Once in Hickman County, once in Chester County. In Chester County, they did kill the individual.
By the way, last week I had somebody contact me from Chester County and said the FBI did it again.
Oh, they've done it again?
They've done it again.
Okay, well, folks, you better be listening. Here we go. And I'd like to find out about that.
Yep.
But I want to tell you something. We got a great opportunity for everybody out there listening coming up this Thursday night, February 1, 6 o'clock, Columbia, Tennessee. Got a great guy. They reached out to me and they wanted me to bring him to Giles County. I said I want to share the wealth and get Lawrence, Lewis, Marshall, Murray, Giles, Lincoln, everybody involved. Got Trevor Loudon. Either one of y'all ever heard of Trevor Loudon?
Yes, we have.
He will be the guest speaker. And Trevor Loudon is an author, filmmaker, and public speaker for more than 30 years. He has researched radical left Marxist and terrorist movements and their covert influence on mainstream politics. He's famous for writing the book White House Reds. It starts out in 1972 with Albert Gore Sr., who, by the way, gave Joe Biden his start in politics. He's also wrote The Enemies Within, and also Barack Obama and the Enemies Within. So listen, you want to hear a good speaker? Come out Thursday night, February 1, and it's going to be in Columbia, Tennessee. It's going to be at the Lighthouse Church, and that's located at 2000, a good number to remember, 2000 Williamsport Pike in Columbia, Tennessee. So be there. You won't meet any finer individual than this man right here.
Okay, so we got less than 2 minutes. Time flies, doesn't it, Chris? Fastest hour in radio. I want everybody to start looking up about Carrie Lake and the bribe attempt that people tried
In Arizona,
where they tried to keep her from running.
right.
And it is amazing listening to this woman saying there's no amount of money, not even billions of dollars, that's going to keep me from doing the right thing. Say what you want about Carrie Lake, love her, hate her, whatever, but this is a woman that has convictions that cannot be bought, unlike a lot of our other politicians. So I'm going to give her kudos on that. Chris Stutts, tell us one more time about your business, your address, and your phone number.
Hey, 41 Williams Road, Leoma, Tennessee. You can reach me anytime on my cell, 931-242-7675. If you leave me a message, I will call you back. And listen, guys, we've got to have conservative Christians step up, get educated, and get involved.
And it's Farm Service Solutions.
That's right.
And you will call back unless it's Lawrence Sutton.
And thank you, Todd Warner, for sponsoring this show.
Thank you, Todd. Everybody, let me tell you, have a great weekend, and God bless Tennessee. God bless Lawrence County.